Okay, so here we are. We're actually in the process of printing a black and white image on our Canon 9400S. So I'm actually here with Peter Milton. He's a renowned artist, and this is one of his pieces that we're actually developing and helping print for him right now. And so we are kind of going through the phases of adding density and then minusing density just to try and get to that point where we've got that perfect equilibrium.
Nicely put.
So what do you think so far? The detail's really showing up on that. I'm actually very happy to see how much of that actually is showing through.
Now there could be more contrast in the end. This,
yeah, we could do
this
that.
This is not a black, but it wasn't supposed to be.
Right.
But it gets a little muddy.
Well, right now, because if we look at the black that you have right here,
that's our clue as what a perfect black is.
Exactly. So we know that it's there. We just end up having to change that.
To keep the clutter down.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. That's the master artist himself. So what's the name of this particular piece?
This is called Hide and Seek.
Hide and Seek.
Children's game with very grown-up overtones. That's good. There was a black here that was popping on the small stuff.
And that's gone.
But that's embedded in there.
Oh, it did. Yeah, look at that, huh? It really did go away.
This has probably got about 2,000 layers in it, maybe 3.
Really?
In the end, I spent a year on it. I worked it at 1200 DPI. My poor computer gets really weighed down by all that story.
I can imagine.
So I'm constantly looking at my monitor to see what it's going to go crap out on me.
Yeah.
It's an adventure. I consider these things as real adventures. They're not mountain climbing,
right?
Quite, but for me, it feels like that.
Oh, I bet. Well, especially with the kind of intricacy and all the different layers and elements that you're putting into it. I mean, there's obviously a lot that's going on.
Well, mostly what I do is take stuff out again, because most of what my ideas don't work when I actually implement them. So.
But you're trying it, though.
It has to be tried. It's trial and error. I get the idea. An idea is usually, very often, not that good. In all cases, you try something. Your initial idea is probably good grief.
Oh, golly.
And it takes a lot of working to make it work.
Well, you know, the nice thing about that, though, is that one idea then can spawn another idea, which then is the one that actually finally works. And so, without trying, you will never know.
It all came out of this image here, I called Hide and Seek.
Uh-huh.
And I started to see where I could take the idea of Hide and Seek.
Right.
And it kept me alive with interest.
Well, that's the great glory of that.
I never get bored.
Yep.
And to me, that's the key to life, is not getting bored.
Always exploring, always pushing the boundary, always learning, developing.
That's the key. But I tell you, I get in a lot of trouble because I get really frustrated.
Ah, so that's the lesson you still have to learn then.
Yeah. Well,
maybe that's the one that you have to...
Michelangelo was the one, that said, life's so short, art so long.
Yeah, there you go.
And he figured he still had a lot of ideas, but that was that.
Yeah, he came to the end of his road. So his life ended, and the art continues.
Yeah, and he was so good. He annihilated all the subsequent artists practically. Everybody, like Beethoven, there's a lot of artists, that Wagner, after they got finished, everybody had to go into it. The whole shift happened, not out of influence, but because it had been gone so far. There's nothing more you could do, so you had to start all over again.
Yep, and a different anomaly.
Makes its next shift.
It does. So all these little details that you have, like in the carpet, and all these pieces that you've pulled together,
it's just
hand drawn. Just mouse, really?
Well, it starts out with something, but it's just layers of pattern.
Right.
And then trying to make it fuse it so it looks credible.
Right.
As what it's.
So are you using a mouse versus the brush or the hand tool?
I use the hand tool. No. You'd think I'd be using this tablet.
The tablet, yeah.
Have
you tried it?
Because I am. Yeah, I have.
You didn't like it?
Well, because I'm working in layers. I'm
Yeah.
no longer drawing. I'm collaging. But I was started out as a draftsman. Then I became an etcher. Then I became an etcher engraver. But then when I went into the computer, I had to start rethinking. And this was
Right.
in the middle 70s. I started doing that for the first time. I didn't know how to write an email.
Right.
So not to put too much on that. It was a fierce learning experience,
Right.
I'll tell you that.
I bet.
Now this is muddy and a low grade. If you compare it to the paper, which I know is paper,
Right.
but it's still our model for what I was hoping to get.
Okay. Well, what we can do is we can pop the contrast on what we have here. So at least we've got a starting point.
Right.
And then from here what we'll go ahead and do is we'll make another adjustment.
Now what contrast can do is start coarsen up the effects.
Right.
Like too much over sharpening and coarsen things
Correct.
too because of all the fringing and stuff that goes on.
Precisely. All right.
So it's very tricky. You can use these things that you think, well, there's an easy answer to this, but it's not, because you've actually introduced some artifacts.
Of course. Sometimes that works for you and sometimes it works
Yeah,
against
and
you.
sometimes you get great surprises.
So
Yeah.
ultimately, what was the final size? I thought it was going to be like 27 by 41
by 41 is the size of this.
is the image, and what was the and that's what this is.
Yeah.
And so what are
This is the size of the
light
media
box?
for the light box I'm using.
Okay, so this we're at 100%. So what you're seeing right here is at the final.
I suggested to me do another one of these so we can compare them, but I didn't want to interrupt his
Okay.
brainstorm.
Well, now we got it though. So you
I
got
want to make
this.
sure we don't run out of paper
Right. No, we won't.
because okay.
You know, so far we've only used, altogether probably 10 feet, not even 10 feet.
Because I have another image altogether that we can take a look at
Okay.
whenever there's time. If there's not time today, so be it. Now, ultimately, if this had gone unbelievably smoothly, I would have gotten another one, a different size. We would have had to convert the size, resize it to be 41.16 by 28.38.
Okay. That's
So,
easy.
which would be larger.
Yeah, a little bit larger, not much though.
Because that's the light box I have when I show it at museums.
Okay. All right.
But this is the one I sell because it's more inexpensive for the
Gotcha.
buyer,
Right.
and it fits in the house better.
Okay. Well, this one's done. Mr. Carlos.
Yes, sir.
The man with the mojo.
Man with the
we're
mojo,
good. We're good.
His cover's blown. Here he is. He's got a name. We'll let you handle it. We'll put it on the light box when it's ready.
Yeah. So it's finished printing. And then so I'll go and show you guys real
I
quick.
wish you had a clear light box, but that's okay. We can make it work.
And so here's the other tests that we have done. So we can see that this one was the 2 clicks lighter. This one was straight out as is. This image right here was with a -10 density. And then this one was with the -20 density. And then ultimately that's as paper proof that we're trying to get it to look like when the light's on and off. So we'll bring that piece over here and we'll take a look at it. So if you've got any fine art reproduction work that you need done, give me a call. My name is Joe Hill from ProLab. The number's 310-846-4496 or online at prolabdigital.com, and see hopefully that we can help you as we've helped Peter Milton out.